Dzisiaj zajmiemy się Doom Studio Multiversem i tym, o co chodzi z tymi elitarnym składem. Zapraszam serdecznie, bardzo serdecznie, bo fabuła jakby tak traktowana jest na naszym polskim YouTubie z Doom Studio po macoszemu, chociaż jest to dość popularna seria, więc zapraszam dzisiaj. Zostawcie lajka.
And the Alliance would have been able to prevent the J apocalypse. Alpha would have been defeated long ago at the hands of Clock Chief, and he himself would have
No właśnie, tutaj jakie jest ten elitarny skład YouTuberów? O co chodzi normalnie? Czy oni są dobrzy, czy źli w końcu?
And Clockman Titan's battle wouldn't have happened to him. And in general, a bunch of other points would have changed dramatically. YouTubers appeared in the series back in the distant 10th episode of the multiverse, but they still exist, and their goals and motives are still not clear.
No właśnie, albo oni są dobrzy, albo nie. Ciekawe, jak myślicie? Jakie jest wasze zdanie?
But even taking into account their secrecy, it is these characters who are one of the main engines of the plot, and most of the events that we see happen at their behest. But why is it so? Who are these elite agents? And what are their abilities? What is in their headquarters?
Nie, oni się nie do końca lubią tym zegarem z przyszłości, nie? Tym largem.
And what is their relationship with Clockman from the future? Who
No
is
właśnie.
in this elite squad? And most importantly, what do these agents want? What motivates them in general? And how are they connected to the Master House? Watch the video to the end.
No właśnie, i czy sam Doom Studio jest dobry? To jest
to find
ważne.
out, and don't forget to like it because we need your support in such a difficult.
Okej, zostawiajcie lajka, u niego też, ja zostawię oczywiście. U mnie też na odcinku to naszej reakcji i komentarzu.
Now we will go back to the time of episode 13 when we were first shown the real face of the elite squad.
No właśnie, tu się ten odcinek pojawił, nie? Znaczy oni się pojawili i wtedy poznaliśmy ich te złe intencje
But they
trochę.
did not bring anything interesting to the plot. And in that episode, we were only told a couple of agents, an ISO toilet and an elite clockman. Both of these characters, as well as all the next members of the elite squad, are avatars of real bloggers implanted in the series, filming
No, to znaczy blogerów, to są youtuberzy, a raczej awatary, z kolei awatary youtuberów, nie? Bo to jest też sztuczną inteligencję zrobione.
Analysis. By the way, even I will appear among them in the future. However, let's go back to episode 13. Even then, we were shown a third blogger at once, Moby, depicted as a mouse cursor. All three elite agents assisted the Alliance in the battle with the army of toilets and in the attack on their fourth base. But as soon as the hands of one of the speakermen got to a certain folder, the speaker himself and all witnesses were
No, zniszczyli go, nie? Ciekawe, co tam było w tym.
destroyed, and all evidence of the existence of the folder was erased. And it was all done by elite agents. After that, they continued to coexist
Tu chyba były te informacje o G-Manie, nie?
peacefully with the Alliance as if nothing had happened. Let's take episode 15 as an example. Fast forward to episode 17, where the Alliance has found another toilet base. In that episode, the situation was almost exactly repeated, and the elite agents helped the TV woman and the camera woman in the same way in killing the toilets. But as soon as the TV woman discovered something she shouldn't have, a folder with a Skibidi apocalypse, the elite squad wanted to remove her. However, fortunately, the TV woman still survived, since soon the house studio showed us in a secret blooper
No ale to tak jakby oni chcieli, żeby ona to zobaczyła. Może tam to było fałszywe, nie?
that the YouTubers decided to keep the TV girl alive because she is a plot important character. By the way, later, the TV woman completely disappeared from the series for some time and did not appear for a long time. Maybe the elite squad was erasing her memory of what she
No właśnie, albo podmienił ją na
had
fejkową.
seen. After all, when the woman did appear, she looked like she had no idea about the apocalypse and what she
No
saw.
to wymazali jej
And
pamięć
only
w takim
thanks to the
razie, nie?
photoman, as early as episode 28, the agents learned about this horror. Remember this moment? We will return to it later. Some time passes, and the houses release a special episode dedicated to the Clockman from the future for the first time. There he said that he had been in a time loop for a long time and could not get out of it. Each time the Alliance in this loop eventually lost, and the Clockman lost all his friends and allies. His task was to prevent losing in a variety of ways. At one point he
No i w
began
końcu mu się udało, nie? Próbował tyle razy, ale znalazł sposób.
to ask for help from other Clockmen. For example, a Clockwoman or a Clockman buff. But in both attempts, it did not help. And one of the times it was because of the heroes of today's video, YouTubers. As the Clockman himself from the future said, one of the attempts was interrupted by the Clockmans in white suits, which I had never seen in my life.
Clockman w białym garniturze?
In this case, they made sure that Alpha survived the battle against Clock Chief, and even intervened once to prevent her death. Before we continue, I want to remind you about my game Toilet Wounds. There will be an update soon with new chests, and the addition of...
Okej, widzę, że reklamuje też grę. Trzeba wrócić do niej, nie? Bo ona była w miarę spoko, ale w wcześniej fazie, więc tam nie było za wiele co robić, nie?
If there is a link in the description, I will be glad if you download it. Let's not stray far
Muszę
from
to
the
sprawdzić.
Clockman from the future, because he had another meeting with an elite squad. In an additional scene to full episode 29, YouTubers gathered at their headquarters to discuss something. Several more faces have been added to the
Jeszcze
squad,
Just
the
Cozy
most
był.
important of which will be the elite Clockman. Suddenly, a portal is created in the middle of the room, and a Clockman from the future emerges
No właśnie, to jest zastanawiające, nie?
from it. He says that he broke the time loop, as well as the fact that he can now move through 7 dimensions. But this is not the most important thing. The most interesting detail was at the end of the additional scene after the elite Clockman and Clockman repelled the Clockman's attack from the future. At the time, it may not have seemed particularly shocking, but after the final part of episode 39, where the Clockman from the future showed all his abilities, it became a little creepy. Apparently, even him, because after the YouTubers repelled his attack, the Clockman was surprised, saying, "I'm the source of the power of all Clockmen, and you have a chance to resist me? Something is wrong with you." And there
Ciekawe, czyli co? Jakby to był totalnie problem z uniwersami, nie? Bo ktoś musiał stworzyć te wszechświaty, nie?
is something wrong with the
Ciekawe.
elite squad, and now I will
No
tell you what
właśnie.
exactly. But before that, it is worth remembering another recent additional scene from the collection from the 30th to the 40th series. There, an elite squad destroyed
A, mamy tego,
Big
nie?
Ben, which subsequently contributed
Stejka.
to the release of Sinister. Here they again harmed the Alliance, exacerbating the already deplorable
No
situation
właśnie, oni cały czas tego sojusz, nie? Się tak mszczą na nim. To jest zastanawiające.
with the G apocalypse. So what are they trying to achieve? Why does each of their arrivals end up harming the Alliance? And they do it deliberately and on purpose, while also managing to convince the agents that the elite squad is on their side. And how is it that the Clockman from the future, having great power, did not even try to resist them? And after thinking about it, I had a pretty plausible picture of
Ciekawa, no bo ja myślałem, że oni specjalnie tak spowalniają sojusz, żeby doszło do pojednania ze Skibidi Toilet,
what
nie?
was happening. For starters,
No,
let's not forget that the elite squad is, in theory, avatars of real YouTubers placed in the series. Again, they are not from the series of houses and are not related to them in any way. They are like imposters who have arrived and established their own order. What if they were created by someone higher for some important purpose? They don't help the Alliance, the Toilets, or the extraterrestrial race. They have their own motives. And this motive,
Czyli to jest następna frakcja? O kurde, to jest dużo
as for me,
tych
is a continuation of the series.
sojuszy,
Yes,
nie?
you heard right. If we summarize everything that we assumed above, the only thing that will explain the actions of YouTubers is the motive to continue and lengthen the series for the viewer. Let's say
Aha, na takiej zasadzie, żeby seria trwała długo. No w sumie ma to sens, bo YouTuberzy analizują, oglądają.
they don't worry about ordinary agents, easily sacrificing them to fulfill their plans, but they don't touch the more important and beloved characters.
Ty,
since
no
eliminating
rzeczywiście,
them
ma
will
to
not affect
sens
the series
teraz, jakby na to nie patrzeć, nie?
very much. There was also a mention in the secret bloopers that there is someone higher than the entire elite. What if it was the Master House, the creator of the series? Could it be that he created elite agents to follow the plot and build it so that it would be interesting and long?
Ty, no może tak być. Ty, to fajnie. Jak coś takiego jest rzeczywiście, to fajnie to Doom Studio wymyślił.
Is
Naprawdę,
why
mega.
YouTubers perform all their deeds to continue the plot. After all, remember if there were moments where the elite squad helped the Alliance, so to speak, shortened the plot? Each of their interventions only added new problems to the agents, which confirms
sumie
my
rację,
theory.
nie?
However, this is not all. Clockman from the future mentioned two important things about YouTubers. The fact that he had never seen them, and the fact that they were able to counter one of the strongest beings in the multiverse. The first confirms that the YouTubers were not
Czyli są jakby poza tą fabułą, nie? Ci
created by the
YouTuberzy.
Alliance, and the second is that they can equal the Clockman himself from the future in power. And who can endow them with such an ability? Correct. The one who stands above everyone else, the one who created the entire universe, and the one who invented
właśnie.
each character, including the Clockman from the future,
Ten,
the
co
creator of
stwórca,
the
no.
series, the
Jest
Master
poza tym.
House. Thus, most factors indicate that my theory is correct. And
Ty, no niezłe, co myślicie o tym? Kurde. No jest to, no logicznie, jest jakaś w tym logika, nie? Jakaś chłopska logika jest, ale rzeczywiście może tak być, że oni są jakby poza. Nie są jakby w tej fabule i nie są stworzoną kreacją, tylko jakby tymi, co tworzą. To mogło być ciekawe.